Hi friends, my name's Sophie. Thanks for landing on this video. Today we're doing a Vinyasa yoga practice that's focused on our peak pose, which is Bird of Paradise. If you're familiar with Bird of Paradise, you know that there's a bind involved with it, but know that even if binds are not for you today for whatever reason, that we're gonna have modifications for all of it, and I'll provide a really cool modification for the peak pose itself, but also throughout the class. So don't worry about that if binds aren't your thing. If you don't even know what I'm talking about, no worries. I'm gonna teach you everything in the class, step by step. We're gonna move through a nice paced flow that it's going to help us with our strength and our flexibility. If you are not subscribed already, please go ahead and subscribe so that you can be up to date when there are new videos posted weekly. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you for being here, and let's get to our mats. Welcome to your practice. For today's practice, blocks are helpful, but they're not required. So if you happen to have them, just have them nearby. If you don't have them, it's no big deal. We are going to start in downward facing dog. So kind of getting right to it today. Tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips. And just start to pedal it out. Maybe move your head around a little bit. Just kind of getting into it. Start to bring your awareness to your breath as well, lengthening your inhales and your exhales as you find a stillness in downward facing dog, pressing down through the hands, lifting through the tailbone, but then dropping the heels at the same time. Breath in, breath out. Shift forward into plank. Inhale. On your exhale, lower slowly all the way to the ground. Untuck your toes and lift up for cobra of your choice, high or low, doesn't matter. Take another inhale here. Exhale, lower down. Press up to tabletop, and then downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Walk your feet up to your hands, take little steps. When you get there, let's take ragdoll, grab onto your elbows. This is my favorite pose. Do it every morning. If you're going to do one thing in the morning, this could be one of those things. One stretch, this might be it. Let that head hang. Get a nice traction in the neck. Soften the toes. Notice if they're gripping. And then release your hands down. Lift up halfway. Take your feet as wide as the mat. We're going to come down right into Malasana. Hands to your heart. Open up your chest. And just kind of move side to side a little bit here. Just kind of getting into the hips. Go ahead, lengthen your spine, find stillness. And fold forward, straighten the legs. Bring the feet back to hip distance apart. So like two fists, and then lift and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. On your inhale, we're going to stand and reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, cactus, take a little back bend. Get that nice opening of the chest. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Shift forward, inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Untuck your toes, lift up for cobra. Exhale, lower back down, tuck your toes, and this time try to press yourself all the way up to plank. One straight line, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Look forward, walk or hop your feet to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand and reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Arms down by your sides. Chair pose, bend your knees, sweep your arms up. Get low in your chair. Make sure you can kind of wiggle those toes. Good. Arms either straight out in front of you or straight up, whatever you can manage right now. Good. Now stand up and take cactus and take a little mini back bend here. And then come back to chair, Utkatasana. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga, or lower all the way down. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Now bring your feet together and lift your right leg up. Bend your knee, open your hip. Straighten the right leg out. Inhale. Exhale, step your foot outside of your right hand. Lizard. Good. From here, we're going to rise up to high lunge. So you can actually slide your foot back in between your hands. That's what I meant to say. Reach the arms up. Come into high lunge. Good. Now grab onto your elbows. Make a frame around your head, basically. And lift and lengthen out of your torso. Make sure you still have control of your core here. The ribs are drawing in. Inhale. And exhale, release your hands down to the ground. Step back to plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Know that you always have the option to skip that part. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, bend your knee, open your hip. Take a moment here, let this settle into the body. Straighten the left leg out, inhale. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. And on your inhale, rise up to high lunge. Grab onto your elbows, make a frame. Take a little back bend, tiny back bend. You're still in control here. Reach your arms up, inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down. Step back to plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Good, inhale. Exhale. Look to the front of the mat, bend your knees, step or hop forward. Halfway lift, fold. Chair, sweep the arms up. Pause. Stand up, cactus, take a little back bend. And then come back to chair. And inhale. And stand, exhale, hands right by your sides. And breathe. Reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or hop back through your vinyasa, meet in down dog. Now set your knees down on the ground and take your right leg out to the right. It's called fire hydrant, so I'll show from the side. Now extend your leg out to the right. Hold. Now take your leg back behind you. Hold it there. Ribs draw in. Low belly draws in. And then leg goes out to the right. And then bring it back behind. And it goes out to the right. So what we're doing is strengthening our glutes, because we're going to need that when we get into our standing posture at the end of class. Over to the right again. And back. You need to have your glutes so strong so they can stabilize you when you're in a one-legged standing position. Let's do one more. Take the leg out to the right, hold it here. Make sure you're not bending your elbows and not sagging to the left side of the body. For 3, 2, bend your knee on 1 and set your knee down. Good job. So take your left leg out to the left, fire hydrant. And again, make sure you're not leaning to the right. Press into the hands. Take your leg out to the left. Now take the leg back behind you. And then over to the left. And bring it back behind. And back over to the left. One more time, back behind you. Actually, a couple more times. And to the left. Okay, let's do 2 more times. I think that would even it out, don't you think? And bring it to the left. I got distracted from Dexter being in my face. Take it back. And to the left, hold. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Bend your knee, set it down. Woo, those are hard. Those are really hard. Tuck your toes, sit back on your heels. Good. Interlace your hands behind your back. Open your chest. If you've been sitting all day, this should feel really good. The shoulders. Good. And release your arms. Bring your hands back to the ground, downward facing dog. Now lift your right leg up, inhale. Exhale, step your foot outside of your right hand. Now we're in lizard. Good, and just take a moment here. I like to move back and forth in lizard. Good, now set your back knee down on the ground and put your forearms down on the ground or on blocks, or keep your hands on the ground. Feel free to untuck your back toes so you can really press down through that back foot, and that just gives a lot of leverage, stability through that back leg. And it allows you to focus more also on the outer right hip when you stabilize the back leg. Now rise back up onto the hands. Good, and tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. Come up onto your fingertips and slide your right foot between your hands and straighten your right leg and lift the sole of the foot off of the ground so you're just on that right heel. Lengthen your spine. Fold over your right leg. Do that a couple more times. Lengthen. Fold. One more time. Lengthen. Fold. And then stay here. Take a couple breaths here. Feel into the back of the right leg. Make sure your hips are nice and even, that they're not leaning from one side or the other. Good. Nice ujjayi breath here, in and out of the nose. Slight restriction of the back of the throat when you exhale. Makes an ocean-like sound. Now let's bend the knee, come back into lunge. Plant your hands, step back to three-legged dog so the right leg goes up and back. Now walk your hands back to the back of the mat. So you're in standing split. Now we haven't done a lot on the back of the left leg yet, so make it easy. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can flex your foot, or you can point it, or floin it maybe, which is somewhere in between where you're kind of flexing and pointing at the same time. Oh, we also call it Barbie foot. You might have heard it that way. Good. Now walk your hands all the way out to a one-legged plank so your right leg stays lifted. Good, and you can take chaturanga here with your leg lifted, or put your foot down, take regular chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Inhale. Exhale, step your foot outside of your left hand. Good. And just start to move forwards and backwards. Should feel so good into the hips. Good. Now let's set the back knee down. Put the forearms down. Press down through your back foot. I like to let my head hang here because it's like the neck does so much work all day to support the head as you're looking forward. So I like to let it hang when I get the chance. Now rise back up onto your hands. Tuck your toes, lift your back knee, come up onto your fingertips and move the left foot between your hands. Inhale, exhale, straighten. And again, blocks can be great here under your hands, but lift the bottom of the foot, you're just on your heel, lengthen and fold. Again, lengthen. As you fold, the left hip kind of pins back. One more time, inhale, exhale. Take a couple more breaths here, just folded. The ujjayi breath is what keeps you focused. And even though we're controlling the breath, we're bringing a freedom to the breath and to the body in this very intentional way when we breathe. Let's bend the knee, come back into lunge. Good. And then step back to three-legged dog. The left leg goes up and back. And then walk your hands back to meet your foot. Standing split back of the mat. The more you pin the right hip back, the more you'll feel the stretch into the outer part of the right, back of the right leg on the outer side. So you have three hamstring muscles. And so we're getting the outermost hamstring muscle. And we're getting to the IT band. Take one more breath. walk your feet or your hands all the way out to one-legged plank. Hold, chaturanga, up dog, and down dog. Inhale, exhale. Lift your right leg up, inhale. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, you land there. Put your right forearm on your right thigh, your left arm up overhead. And then take a half bind with your left arm. So first internally rotate your left arm, then bring your arm behind you. Then put your right fingertips to the ground if you'd like, and just plug the left shoulder back. So that's going to be really important here. To get the shoulder open, press back through your back thigh. Good, one more breath. Keep taking the shoulder back. Now keep your left arm behind you, rise up to reverse warrior. Good. Inhale. Exhale, hands down to the ground, low lunge. Good, pause here. Step your back foot in a little bit and then make your way to warrior three. So if you want to just do one swoop to warrior three, that's fine. Your fingertips can start out on the ground or maybe on your blocks, and then hands to your heart when you're ready. Keep your left foot flexed and your left hip facing down. One more breath. Ooh, step back to high lunge. Reach those arms up. Good. And then bring your hands down to the ground and set your back knee down. And then we're going to come up here for Anjana Asana. So reach the arms up again. Take your arms straight out in front of you and take your right arm back behind you to twist. Now from this twist, bring your hands to your heart and hook your left elbow over your right thigh. Or you can stay in an open arm twist. Press your left elbow into your right thigh to get a little bit more lift. Visualize your shoulder blades on your back squeezing towards each other the more that you twist. Good, come back to center. Slowly, reach your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Step back to plank. Lower onto your forearms one at a time for a forearm plank. And then come right back up onto your hands for high plank. Good. Downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up. Inhale. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Inhale, rise up to warrior two. Exhale, you land. Put your left forearm on your left thigh, right arm straight up. Space in the neck, space in the chest. Take the right arm, internally rotate it, and then bring the arm behind you. Draw the right shoulder back. And then put your left fingertips to the ground if you'd like, and feel both sides of your torso, right and left, reaching forward. Bring your chin down so you're not like looking up to the sky. Your neck is nice and even. Take one more breath. And then rise up to reverse warrior. Inhale. Reach out of the torso. Exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the ground. Low lunge. Beautiful. We'll come to warrior three from here. So lift your back leg up. Hands to your heart. Flex your right foot. Take your time getting there. Make sure the back of the neck is long. I always notice that I'm looking a little too far forward. So adjust that. Draw the belly in. And then we'll step back to high lunge. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, bring your hands down to the ground. Put your back knee down. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, arms straight out in front of you. Take the left arm back behind you, twist. You can stay here, or you can bring your hands together. And you can hook your right elbow over your left knee and twist. And just focusing here on the twist. No need to lift the back knee. We're just going to stay here, pressing the right elbow into the thigh to create as much space as you can through your collarbones. Good, and then we're going to come back to center when you're ready. Reach your arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Lift your back knee. Step back to plank. Lower onto your forearms one at a time. Come back up onto your hands. Downward facing dog. So that's kind of our substitute for the traditional vinyasa. Breath in and breath out. Good, now lift your right leg up. Inhale. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Set your back knee down and straighten out your right leg for half split. So for bird of paradise, we want to have nice flexible hamstrings for the full expression of the pose. So that's why we're doing that here. That's why we're doing this. This is the whole purpose. Left hand down if you want more, and right arm up. Plug left shoulder back. So this twisted pose here, this twisted, why can't I think of it? Half split. This twisted half split is really enhancing the stretch through the right hamstring. Inhale, exhale, right hand down. Good. Bend your knee, come into lunge. Lift your back knee. Rise up to high lunge. Good. Inhale, exhale, warrior two. Okay, we're back here again. Now straighten your right leg, triangle. Reach forward, right hand down, left arm up. So left hip slightly angles like down and forward, but then the chest opens up to the sky. So you have a nice triangle. I'm going to put my hand actually on a block here. I really like the hand on a block. So you're welcome to do that. Or you can put your hand on your shin, but you just don't want to be dumping down towards the ground. Press down through the big toe mound of your right foot and spread the toes. Good. All right, and then we're going to rise back up to warrior two. Inhale. On your exhale, reach forward, put your right hand down and your left arm up. So side angle, we've been here before. Half bind with your left arm. And you can stay here, okay? Or you can take a full bind, take your right arm underneath and clasp your hands. And for what we're going towards, you want to be able to get the full bind. So if your hands aren't connected, then you're going to do the first option, okay? If your hands are not bound, then you're going to do the first option of just your left arm. So either keep your arms bound like this and step to the front of the mat, or I'll show you a second option. Just put your right hand onto the back right heel. Just grab onto the heel and step. Everybody step to the front of the mat. Now lift your right heel up. Grab onto your right heel with your right hand if you don't have a bind. If you do have a bind, just continue to stand up, and we're taking the right leg with us. So I'm showing the modified version here. Okay, if you have the bind, your arms are around and you're standing all the way up. You can either stay here or you can start to extend the leg. If you have the modified version, you can totally extend the leg here and reach that leg up. Get it as straight as you possibly can. If you have the bind, you're doing the same thing. Feel the glute strength in your left glute really working to support you here. Good, now we're gonna all bend our knee wherever you are, come back down to the ground. So we're at the front of the mat. And then whether you have the bind or not, everyone has a half bind with your left arm, a half bind. Step your left foot back and then open your arms up. And rise up to warrior two. Inhale, exhale, hands down. Low lunge. Step back to plank. Good, let's lower all the way to the ground. Take your arms down by your sides. Lift up for locust. Good, now keeping everything in locust, put your hands underneath your elbows. Lift up for upward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breath in and breath out. Nice job. Lift your left leg. Inhale. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Put your knee down. Straighten out your left leg by sliding the foot forward. Lift and lengthen your spine. Walk the hands forward. This is a half split Arta Hanumanasana. I completely blanked on it, the name of it on the other side. One of those days. Either stay here or plant your right hand and lift your left arm up for a twisted Arta Hanumanasana, which I think I made that up. The name of that. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to put the hand back down and then come back into lunge and lift your back knee. And now rise up to warrior two. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten your left leg, hips back, upper body forward. So we're coming into triangle. Again, you can use your block or you can put your hand on your shin or on the ground. We're lifting away from the ground. Right hip is kind of facing forward. Lifting and lifting. Good. And then from there, we'll rise back up to warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, side angle. So left hand down, right arm up. Everybody's taking a half bind. So to rotate your right arm in, take it behind you, half bind as far as you can, and then draw the right shoulder back. And then if you're taking the full bind, you're going to clasp hands. And if you're taking the modified version, you're just grabbing onto your left heel with your left hand, which I'm doing with you here. Hold here, and everybody open up towards the sky, and then look down at the ground, and step to the front of the mat. Lift your left heel. And if you had a really hard time on the other side, grab a block, and you can put your foot, the foot that you're lifting, onto the block first, and that'll give you some height. And you can stand all the way up. Good. I'm not going to turn. I'm just going to keep facing the way I'm facing. But keep going. We're going to take the leg out wherever you are. Try to keep your left elbow bent, your left elbow hugging, left shoulder hugging inwards. If you have the modified version, if you have the bind, just keep extending that leg. And then bend your knee. Let's slowly come back down. Put your foot down. Let's all step back. Keep your bind if you have it. Good. Now you can unbind. Everybody take your right arm up and rise up to warrior two. Inhale. Exhale. Hands down to the ground. Low lunge. Step back to plank. Lower all the way down. Lift up for locust. This time you can interlace your hands if you want. Nice little back bend here. And then put your hands down to the ground. Upward facing dog. Takes you right there. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now look forward and step or hop to the front of the mat. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Inhale, stand. Reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Arms down by your sides. Good. Reach your arms up again. Inhale. Take your feet wide. Exhale, fold. All right. I like to do things twice, so we're going to do bird of paradise again, modified or regular. So you're going to bend your knees a lot. We're going into it a different way now. Bend your knees. Take your right shoulder underneath your right leg. Ring it around. So that's like your half bind, right? And then take your left arm up, and then maybe you reach it around and grab onto your hand. This might be easier for you to come into this, to the bind from here. So actually the left arm would be like the half bind. The bottom arm would be taking the full bind if you were in side angle. Now lean all your weight into your left foot. Remember to put your right foot on your block if you want help here, if you have a really hard time standing up. But then take your time standing all the way up. Once you get there, stand tall. Open your chest. Maybe you want to straighten the leg out. You don't have to. That's optional if you're just focusing on balancing here. Good, and then slowly lower back down to the ground. And gently release your hands. See, not so bad. I like it from that way, personally. Okay, and then just take a fold. Take a fold, little break. Okay, we're going to bend the knees again. Left arm underneath left leg. So right arm up, and then you're going to go for your bind. But remember, if you're doing the modification, you're just grabbing onto the heel. All right, put all the weight into your right foot. Lifting your left heel. We're slowly standing up. If you're just holding the heel, that's fine with the left hand. That's the modification. And maybe you start to straighten the leg. Open your chest. Inhale. On your exhale, bend your knee. Slowly come back down. Ooh, unwind. Grab onto your elbows if you want. Take ragdoll like we started out. All right. Step back to down dog. Nice. Let's take pigeon. Right knee to right wrist. Pigeon pose, just to start to wind things down, and because it feels good. So we did a lot of opening of the legs today, a lot of external rotation. So now it should feel good to get into the outer hip. We're actually still doing external rotation of the hip, but we're stretching the outer hip instead of the inner parts of the leg in the hip. Good. And then walk the hands forward if you want and fold. We'll take about 3 breaths here, not too long. And then rise back up onto your hands and step back to down dog. A pigeon on the left side, left knee to left wrist. Come up onto the hands. It should feel like a relief to finally stretch out all the muscles that we worked in the glutes. We did a lot of glute work. So now we're releasing those muscles. Inhale. Exhale, let's come down. We'll take about 3 slow breaths. Slowly rise up onto your hands. Step back to down dog. Set the knees down and swing the legs in front of you. If you'd rather hop into a seat, you can do that too. So come into a seated position. Nice. And then lay all the way down onto your back. And hug your knees into your chest. And rock side to side. Congratulate yourself for showing up to your practice, for sticking with it. Showing up's really hard, and then staying with it is really hard. When you're at home, doing it on your own, to have the discipline to stay and do it is really something special. Grab onto your feet, take happy baby. And then you bring your feet back in, bring your knees back in, one last little hug. And then you'll extend your legs for a little shavasana here. Legs long, arms down by your sides. Go ahead and stay down. Close your eyes. And I'm going to leave you here in shavasana. I'll play some music for you to stay for a little bit longer if you'd like. If you need to move on with your day, you're more than welcome to do so, but move out of the practice slowly and intentionally. Thanks for practicing. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give it a like, give it a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you want more of. I'm making these videos for you, and my goal is to make them exactly as you want them. So I'd love to hear from you. Hope you have a wonderful day or night. Let's bring the hands together. Namaste.